Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Welcome back, everyone. And this week for me, and it's, hey, listen, if you like to fish and hunt for fun, and if you're lucky enough, you get to go out enough days, you're going to have rough stretches, right? Now, this duck season has been a rough stretch, basically since the middle of October. It's been a grind. It has not been anything like last year, the year before, the year before, the year before, where you could just go out and maybe get lucky. I mean, if you're not finding them and keeping tabs on what's going on, and that all falls down to river levels, what the wind's doing that day, what the weather did the night before, because the birds, at least that I have time to target, or the areas that I'm in, they've been around a while. I mean, when you see groups of mallards that get within 60, 70 yards of your decoys and then just absolutely drop an anchor to get out of there, there's something going on. They're just not fresh birds. But this week, I only had a couple of days to hunt ducks. First day was, great, only because I did shoot a limit, but it took all day to get there. But got one of the craziest ducks that I've ever seen. Now, and over the years, we've talked about this, other birds that I've shown here on the show that were hybrids or different birds, and this isn't it. We're going to get to it in a second. But when I get to this upcoming bird, you're going to go, what in the heck? This is just one of the prettiest. This is the nicest pintail of the year for me. I had to get a photo of it just because I haven't seen one that size and with that kind of a tail on it yet. But it was a good one. That was actually from Thursday, 3 or 4 bird day. And that pintail was truly the trophy. But this bird, and you're going to go, well, I don't know what that is. That's a pond duck or something like that. And you know what? We're going to do a DNA on it. And if you were unaware, you can do that. If you do shoot a hybrid bird, you can go to Duck DNA, and they will absolutely do a DNA test. You do have to pay for it to find out what the cross is. But first things you got to understand if you're a duck person, is typically when you see a hybrid with a mallard and say a farm duck, they're usually really big, okay? Trust me, I've seen several of them over the years. You can't miss it. They're just big. This is actually smaller than any of the Drake mallards that I took that day, and that photo was just before that where you could see some of the other birds from the day. It's actually smaller. So that by itself is a trip, okay? But then you take a look at these colors, the way it's marbled around its neck, and then that caramel as it comes down. Now, you might not think spoonbill initially, but if you take a look at a Drake spoonbill, that caramelization, that color, it's identical. It's absolutely the same. And on the bill of this duck, it's very, very difficult to tell. And Ryan, maybe if you go back to, that one might show it. The bill is actually flared ever so slightly on the front. I was comparing it, of course, to other mallard drakes that were sitting right next to it. So what is it? I don't know, okay? But again, you can tell right there, it is smaller than the other mallard drakes that you're seeing sit there. It's one of the coolest birds I've ever seen, and I'll give you just a quick rundown on how this happened. A high group coming from the north, probably 30 or 40 birds that were mixed into it. This time of year, when you see those birds, they are sometimes susceptible to a good long highball, and you might get their attention of a couple of them, and that's what happened. 2 or 3 of them piled out of that group, came straight down. I mean, they threw an anchor and were coming right now. As soon as that bird broke out, I actually just thought it was a pintail that had tangled in with a bunch of mallards. Came in with a mallard hen, and he didn't leave. I mean, I just couldn't miss that bird. I mean, look at him. But it was pretty impressive. I will keep you updated on what the response is. From what they say, it takes 3 to 4 months to get the DNA test returned. But I'm really curious. I really want to know what that mix is. Either way, it's going on the wall. So that was kind of an interesting bird that at least this year, for such a difficult year. Fishing-wise, though, I hit it pretty hard 2 days. I think it was Monday and Wednesday. And Wednesday for sure, I fished for 8 hours, no fish. I think I went through 10 or 12 suckers. I actually thought at least twice. I thought for sure this one's just, no, it's not. Same day though, I really didn't hear of anything else going on after talking to some drift boaters and some other bank anglers. Overall tough, but some of the reports were not negative. You know, there were some good reports from up and down the coast, some reports from local rivers around as well. So Again, it's that time of year where there's going to be some fish kind of spread out. Hopefully things will just start to improve as we work our way into February and, of course, March, when things typically do improve. But river conditions are changing very, very quickly. If you're, for whatever reason, paying attention to the Columbia, it's about to drop out. By next weekend, it's going to be back down into the 3s. So if you've been spending time out there, again, for whatever reason, kiss the water goodbye and get your boots ready to start walking. Willamette, same thing. It's not dropping quite as fast as the Willamette, but it is certainly starting to come down. For those folks that have been plunking over there at the Blacktop or I want to say the bar there, excuse me, I'm just forgetting it off the top of my head. You know, some photos we'll be showing here in the next couple of weeks as we go through the rotation. So things are interesting there as well. My home river is borderline perfect right now. I mean, really, if there's some fish in there, you got some good conditions, and you're going to see the same thing up and down the coast. All these rivers are starting to drop or have dropped and are stable and will continue to do so, but stay in decent conditions as you start looking at rivers further south and then even further south when you get down into the Alsea. Yeah, this is an interesting week. If you're a rafter, drift boater, hiker, whatever it is, if you haven't been motivated, this should kind of get you there. But you will get into that low, clear water conditions, and we'll even ask Chris a little bit about that, how he approaches those conditions with his clients going forwards, because it looks like it's going to stay like this for quite a while. I don't see any rain in the forecast. We'll find out from Carly if that's true or not, but certainly something to keep in mind. Fisherman's Marine has got a steelhead derby going on right now. Apparently it started last week. It goes through the end of March. Oh, hey, and that guy works for Fisherman's. He doesn't count. You can't win. I'm kidding. It's always fun every year. If you have a chance to enter yourself in for this or the Spring Chinook Derby that they have each year as well, it is put on by B&R and Kershaw and others, Procure as well. Tons of fun. You might have a chance to, you know, win yourself a prize pack. But there's been some decent steelhead caught. I'm not going to throw numbers out, but I know that there's been some really nice steelhead caught already this year in a number of the systems, the broodstock programs and wilds as well. Procure, if you want to have something else for free, go ahead and send Jason over at Procure. That'd be Jason at Procure.com. An email, and you'll have a chance to win that weekly prize pack from them. And Jason and Steve and others over there, we appreciate you doing this for our viewers. Uncle Phil, we appreciate that. But you have to enter in each week to have your opportunity to win. But let's find out what this weather's really going to do from Carly. It seems like the sun and no rain and all that stuff is in the forecast. How long, though, I guess is my question, Carly.
Well, I hate to tell you, there's not a lot of rain. The only rain that we're going to see today is going to be very light, just closer to that misty rain or just pretty light rain. Over along the coast and up and down the I-5 corridor is where we're going to see that. It'll be interspersed with some dry moments today and just some cloud cover there too. But the highs for the day over on the coast, a little warm though, lower 50s once again. We've got some mid 40s here for Portland, for Salem, upper 40s for Albany, mid 30s though for Bend. Pretty chilly day over there and pretty chilly day for Eastern Oregon too. There is some snow expected for Eastern Oregon, but mostly only for the higher elevations. Nothing's expected to stick at the city levels. So like I said, throughout most of the day today, we do have a little snow expected for the mountain too, 3 to 5 inches at the highest elevations. But in the western half of Oregon and southern Washington, it's just going to be some cloud cover, lighter drizzles, if anything, some sun breaks possible, and a similar weather pattern tomorrow as well. We could just have some more consistent drizzle in the afternoon hours, but for the most part, it'll just be a cloudy day with a sunbreak or two. Into Monday, we start the day pretty clear, actually. Look at that. The entire state of Oregon and southern Washington looking pretty clear at that point. We will have some morning fog there for Monday. Tuesday, though, once again, expected to be pretty sunny skies. Wednesday also expected to have sunny skies. The next time after that, any drizzle is expected is Thursday. Now, we're not entirely sure how that rain will look, when it will hit, how much it'll be. We'll know more as we get closer, but we do know a lot of sunshine on tap for this week.
Again, I love the sunshine, but I'd love to see some cold with it. How about that? We got no freeze or anything coming, huh?
No, not at this point. I mean, if you remember at this point last year, we were approaching the ice storm, so very different January.
Very interesting. Carly, thank you as always. We'll see you in the morning. All right, everyone, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, I've got Chris V in the studio on a Saturday morning, so we thank him for spending the time here. But we're going to talk nothing but steelhead, how he likes to go after them with his clients. And with these conditions coming up, it's a perfect question to ask. How will you approach these low, clear water conditions to be successful with your clients? We'll have that and more when we come back from this break. Don't go anywhere.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by P-Line, because we fish, by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.
Nobody enjoys the outdoors more than I do. And these are what gets me there. Les Schwab offers a free pre-trip safety inspection. How does this help the average customer that comes in?
We call it our safety status check, and every vehicle that comes into our shop is going to get one.
Big thanks to Les Schwab for your continued support and sponsorship of Outdoor GPS, and I look forward to many years of more adventures on your tires.